Hey, what's going on, parents? So, today we're going to cover the concept of match day training loads and overall weekly training loads. And I really need you guys to lock in with this concept because it'll really help you discover certain areas of weaknesses in your child's development, right? What tends to happen is a lot of our children's training loads throughout the week are very low. Then come game time, it's a very intense session, very intense game, and the child is not ready to meet the standards of the actual game because their full training load throughout the week has been very low. Vice versa, we have the child who trains very intensely every single day of the week, then come game time and they're actually burnt out, tired, and just not at their full capacity come game time, right? So you don't want to be on either side of the spectrums. You want to have a particular training load that really helps you function to the best of your child's ability. And if you guys need help with this, comment down on the school section once I post this, or direct message me so that I can look at your full training load throughout the week and help you make adjustments throughout the week, right? With the training load. That way, come match day, your child is ready. So I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about what match day and training loads should look like throughout the week. And that way we can find gaps in between them if there are some in your child's calendar or schedule, right? So on match day, here we go. Match day, you notice this says here MD, that just means match day. But let's look at the example A, right? Forget the -4 up until -1, right? Let's look at match day. Today, some of you guys had some games. It is Sunday currently. So this is what you would be MD, match day. Then the next 2 days after that are very important for how your child recovers from the game. Most people have Mondays off. Some people actually come to do training with me on Monday, but we can look at that and fast forward to that. Okay. So ideally, you want to have either some sort of like complete recovery day, right? Where you're not really doing much, you're just stretching, hydrating, and maybe looking at some film. That would look like this, off, off. And then some people would actually have recovery slash training for their match day +1. It all depends on the intensity of the game. Was it a very high intensity game? Can you still do anything the following day? That would be match day +1. Okay, match day +1 and match day +2 are pretty important to your recovery because after a game, after MD, you want to make sure you're recovering from any soreness, any bit of minor injuries, and so match day +1 and +2 are very important for you guys to stay healthy throughout the next week, the following week. Okay. So now let's kind of go down here and look at match day +1. Some players actually do this with me, right? The recovery slash training with me. What we're doing from now on is managing what match day +1 looks like, right? So come training time, I'll tailor the training to some of your guys' load, right? So if you had a big game on Sunday, come the next day when you train with me, I'll be able to customize what that looks like. Okay. That way you don't have to do a ton of, extra physical work. And what helps me stay up to date with what you guys are doing are the weekly check-in forms. And that's what we're completing those for on a weekly basis. So I can tailor trainings to you guys and understand really what your load is looking like throughout the week and overall what the weekend is looking like. Okay. Let's go on to match day +2. Match day +2 would pretty much be Tuesday. Come around Tuesday, some players are already back in training, or they're just simply getting back from their last bits of recovery from the Sunday game. Okay. Professionals they take this stuff very seriously at that level because they go through some very hard knocks, very hard fouls, very intense moments, some pulled muscles, some injuries in between the games. So they need 48 hours to recover, and they need to do so strategically. So that's when a lot of the science that they track, which is some of this on here, really starts to count. Okay. Now let's look over back to match day 4, -4. You're already probably training, you're recovered, you're ready to go. Most likely everyone here is already training. And let's just say match day -3 comes down to, Thursday. You're still training, still training. Some people might have a designated day off on this day, right? Then come Friday, training again. Saturday, which is match day -1, a lot of people are probably not doing much, right? You're training is your team is not training during this day, assuming that this is Saturday, and then match day on Sunday, right? This might look a little bit different for everyone, so just keep in mind it's a template that we're looking at so we can manage your load. Again, if you tell me what your schedule looks like, I can definitely adjust this for you and tell you where you can either add extra sessions to keep your intensity high throughout the week, or diminish your sessions to take a little bit more of a break in case you're doing too much throughout the week. Okay, so let's kind of scroll down here a little bit and let's look at what the load should look like come match day. All right, so if you notice, MD match day is the highest one, right? This is like the test. This is like the super highly intense game that you're going to be going through on the weekly basis. Now you got to think about how professionals manage this, because pretty much a lot of professionals have 3 games. They have 3 match days per week. So you can only imagine how much, customized training there has to be to the workload that they go through, because here it would be like super high, and then maybe here would be very high, and then here would be high again, right? So the pros have to really take care of this stuff, because after every game, it takes around 48 hours. So by the time they are done with recovering from 40 hours, they're already, having to prepare for the next game right after the 48 hours. So with you guys, right, we do things a little bit differently. So that means you can do more training throughout the week, but you still want to be able to customize, what your training week and your load looks like. So if you notice here, MD is typically the highest, but look at MD -1, MD, let's just call it minus, sorry. MD -1, MD -2. The 2 days leading up to the game are usually the lowest, okay? Some of you guys are training with me on Fridays. We need to really work on this and customize this a little bit more to your needs, because a lot of you guys have Saturday games. So what we need to do is manage your workload on these particular days. So now let's say MD is Saturday. Some of you guys train with me on MD -1. Some of you guys might have your club training with your team MD -2, which would be on a Thursday. And then Friday, you're not doing much. So now keep in mind, you should still be training, but just not at a super high, not just intensity, but like density, right? The workload. Is it a 2-hour training session or just a 1-hour training session? The perfect thing about what you guys do when you come to train with me on Fridays, if you're training with me on Fridays, is that the intensity is high, but because it's just an hour training, that means the load is not very bad. It's pretty decent, actually. So I encourage a lot of parents to train on that Friday, because most of them are not doing anything on Friday anyway, but they need to keep that load up. They need to keep that intensity out throughout the week. Okay. So if you notice, Thursday and Friday, players are still training, but it's just lower volume. Sorry. So it's not a big 2 to 3 hour training session. It's just a quick 1-hour session, and this will help you guys stay sharp. Now, if you notice, MD -4 and MD -3 is a little bit higher workload, but the reason for that is because we already took match day +1, match day +2 recovery, and now we just come over to MD -4 and 3, which would most likely look like what? This is Monday, Tuesday. Sorry. This would be probably Tuesday, and this will probably be Wednesday. This would be more of like a midweek type of training. And this is where we would kind of bring the intensity high at your club training sessions, which is what your coach would probably do. Okay. So if your MD or your match day is on Saturday, you need to recover MD +1, which is Sunday, and MD +2, which is probably Monday. But MD +2 is starting to look a little bit better, a little bit more higher intensity, which allows you to do more. But what happens with some of you guys is you have match day on Saturday, then match day +1, you don't have anything to do. So your workload is like all the way down here, right? And then sometimes some of you guys don't even train on Monday. So now you have MD +1 and MD +2 at a very low workload. So now you're essentially falling 2 days behind, while some players are training here at this intensity on MD +1 and MD +2. Then by the time they get to MD -4 and 3, they're already training at an even higher intensity. Okay. But the thing is, if this is low, by the time you get to this and this, yes, it's a little bit higher, but now you have these big swings in the workload. You want to maintain your workload all, within a reasonable range. Okay, so if you have any questions about this, guys, comment down below on this post, and we'll cover a little bit about how you can adjust your training to have a better training load throughout the week. So that way it's not either too high or it's not too low. A lot of you guys have just super high um, training sessions throughout the full week. Every session is super high, super intense volume, and then you come to the game and you're already tired, and you think, well, hey, we've been doing a lot of strength and conditioning and a lot of fitness, but he's still very tired throughout the game. He's still not strong, and that's probably why. Okay, so make sure you guys look through this full video, learn a little bit from it. I'd like to customize your training a little bit more, so reach out to me if you have any issues. There's a lot of science behind this, which is very in depth, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys with that. I just want to overall bring the concept of training load throughout the week. So make sure you guys are checking this video out. Comment on it down below if you have any questions, and then I'll get back to you.